Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. My name is V. I post nail tutorials every Thursday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Central Time. For today's video, I am doing my all-time favorite combo, which is nude and neons. This is such an easy look to achieve, so I'm really excited to be sharing it with you guys. Along with that, I'm also doing double tip extra long nails, so I am going to be going really in depth with this tutorial and explaining exactly how I achieve that. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications. I do insert giveaways randomly into my videos, so you do not want to miss out. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. For today's video, I'm actually going to be using these nail tips off of Amazon. The link will be in the description box if you guys are interested. As you can see, these are straight, just like I like them. They are a little bit on the shorter side, but that's fine. So I'm going in with my mandrel bit with my sanding band on it. I am going to be gently removing the shine from the natural nail. You want to make sure you have your prep down perfect to ensure you do not get any lifting on yourself or on your client. All I'm doing is taking my e-file and going back and forth, just gently buffing off that shine. You want to do so because the oils on the natural nail bed can cause lifting, and we do not want that. So I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that, and then I am showing you just on a small portion how I do my left hand as well. Now I'm taking my prep needle bit. I also got this from Amazon, and I'm just going in and gently going around the cuticle. This helps to get in those hard to reach areas, and it helps remove any dead skin cells that you may have missed with your mandrel bit. I do highly recommend these. They are very, very fine, so you will not hurt yourself or your client. Now using my ball bit, this came in a pack of 3 with that needle bit as well. I'm going in on the cuticle area. What this does is lightly buffs away any cuticle that you want to remove without having to use cuticle nippers. I do highly recommend this if you guys are terrified just like me to use cuticle nippers. This does it very, very gently, and it does not hurt at all. Always make sure you have your e-file at a very low speed. I like to have mine at about a 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs. This is a perfect speed for me personally. And I'm just kind of going in on my left hand as well. I went ahead and placed my tips into a tip container. So what I'm going to be doing with these is showing you exactly how I make sure that the tips are on my nails perfectly. So as you can see, I measured it up to my nail and it was just a little bit smaller. What I will say about these tips is the smallest size is a 9. Normally you can find a 10, but it's fine because as you can see, what I did was take my hand file and just lightly file the sides so it fits perfectly. I have no issues with doing this. It is a little bit more time consuming, but for the majority of clients, you don't really have these issues. So I'm just going in and I pre-measured them up to my nail, and then I'm just gluing them on there. They fit perfectly fine. I do really like them. I've been looking for a square tip for the longest time because I know that these stiletto ones work great, but you do have those clients that do not want coffins, so it does make it a little bit harder. I will be using these for square nails and tapered square nails. So you guys know I'm a little nuts and I like my long nails. So of course I had to double tip. I've never done this before, so I figured I would experiment with you guys. So they were probably on the perfect size, but I get blind sometimes and I really thought they looked a lot shorter than they were. I don't know, whenever I see them on camera, I'm like, dang girl, you are extra. So I'm going ahead and just taking another tip. You can either take the same size or a size down from what you originally placed on your nail. And then I'm just gluing that on the tip of the nail. Once it's dry, go ahead and clip them to the length that you want. Yes, they are a little bit extra, but I feel like you guys can gain some knowledge out of this video, so why not? And I'm gonna go ahead and finish that off. Of course, I did it on my left hand as well. And just because it would make my life easier, I went ahead and cut them as I was placing them instead of placing all the tips and then cutting them. Now I am taking my straight edge nail clippers. So as you can see, I'm just cutting off just that tiny little excess that is hanging off of the sides. It's super easy to do this and highly recommend you guys invest in some straight edge nail clippers. They are lifesavers. Now I'm just taking my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file and going ahead and shaping out those nails. I want to keep the square shape to them, so I'm not doing much filing. All I'm doing is making sure that that extra tip that I added is nicely blended to the first tip that I placed onto the nail. And I did do the majority of my right hand off camera just because I get so into what I'm doing and I forget that I'm recording. So a lot of the footage was just ruined, so I opted to not including most of it in here. You will see little snippets of it throughout. So I'm just going in with my mandrel bit once again and just blending the tip to my natural nail, as this ensures a flawless and smooth application process. Now I'm taking my lint-free wipe and some swipe and just cleansing the surface of the nail. This works as a dehydrator in prep for our primer. Once that's nice and dry, I am taking my protein bond and applying a layer of that onto my natural nail only. You don't really need it on the tip. If you do have trouble with lifting, make sure to place 2 coats and that will fix your problem. So here I am taking Nude Panther from Not Polished. This is my absolute favorite color. Definitely goes with tons of skin tone, so I highly recommend it. I am taking a medium to large size bead of acrylic and applying that on the tip of the nail. I like to work from the tip up towards the cuticle because I find it easiest to build the apex this way. So then I'm taking my second bead, again, medium to large bead of acrylic, and applying that in the middle section, gently blending that down towards the tip, as it will help blend and ensure a more flawless application. I'm taking another bead and placing that right above. I like to leave the cuticle area for the very last. So I'm going in with a smaller bead of acrylic and placing that near the cuticle, and then gently pushing it up towards the cuticle and blending it down. Of course, fill in any areas that you might need. On the tip, I left it a little bit thin, so I just went ahead and added another bead of acrylic and fixed the problem. Make sure you guys check out my liquid to powder ratio video. It goes super in depth on how to pick up certain size beads. I got tons of positive feedback on that video, so I do think if you are struggling with this area, this will help you. It will change your acrylic application game once you get that down. So make sure you guys check that out. In this video, I am using my Sculpt It Like It's Hot in the number 6 for my brush. This is from Profiles Backstage, and from their website as well, I am using their acrylic monomer. This monomer is very low odor, so I do highly recommend it if you guys are sensitive to strong smelling monomers. This will be so helpful. And like I mentioned before, I went ahead and did my right hand off camera. So here I am taking my fine carbide bit. This is from Kiara Sky. Don't forget to use my discount code to save a little bit of money. This is the one that came with the e-file. It has a really pretty diamond on the tip of it. If you guys are interested on learning how exactly to use an e-file and a kind of little review on this specific e-file, make sure to check out that video as well. Here I am just lightly filing the surface of the nail. I like to apply my acrylic a lot more on the smooth side, so I'm not really removing bulk product. All I'm doing is making sure everything is nice and smooth. I later go in with my hand file. This is also a safety bit, so highly recommend it if you guys do not like the sharp edges. This is a lot safer to use on yourself and on your clients. This is what my nails look like once I file with the e-file. Now going in with my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file, I'm just going in on the sides, making sure everything is nice and straight. And then I am going to be lightly filing the surface of the nail to ensure everything is nice and smooth. You can get tiny little ridges from the e-file, so I like to go in with my hand file just to make sure, again, everything is smooth. I kind of don't really have a specific routine when it comes to hand filing. I'm kind of all over the place, to be honest. I either file the surface first and then go on to the sides, or I do the sides first and then go on to the surface. It kind of doesn't really matter. It's really just what I'm feeling. So make sure you mess around with your options, figure out what works best for you. But I do recommend you go vertically up and down for long nails, as you cover more surface like that, which makes your filing process a lot faster, and it ensures that the transition from the cuticle area down to the tip is perfect. Now I am going in with my cone bit. I use this around the cuticle area to make sure that the acrylic is nice and flush to the cuticle area. You want that to be as flat as possible because this will help with lifting. If you have it way too bulky in that area, it can cause snagging, which leads to lifting, which leads to an unhappy client and a very sad nail tech. Now I'm taking my sponge buffer from Profiles Backstage and lightly buffing the surface of the nail. I want it to be as perfect and flawless as possible, as I will be going in with nail art and you want a very smooth application. I went ahead and deep cleaned my nails by washing them and scrubbing them with a brush. Now I'm going in for my nail art. I'm taking my nail art brush and some white gel paint. Make sure that for this specific design, you have a paint that has a tacky layer. Whether it's a gel paint or a gel polish, make sure it has that sticky tacky layer or sticky residue, because I know a lot of you guys are not familiar with what that is. If you cure it in the light and it has a sticky layer to it and it's not nice and smooth, that is exactly what you want. I do recommend you guys stick with a white color, as it will make the neon colors a lot more vibrant. I've had a lot of you guys inquire about using just a regular top coat or a gel base, and I definitely would not recommend that, as I don't think it is thick enough for this type of design. So I'm just going in and drawing blobs. I'm trying to mimic the look of splattered paint. So you can really start off with a big surface of a blob and then kind of just splatter it out. So in order to do that, I just draw a little dot and then drag it in towards the rest of the blob. The messier, the better the effect. But I think what I did focus on the most was making sure that any edges were round instead of pointed, so it looks specifically like a splattered effect. At any point that you feel is necessary, make sure you cure that. I definitely recommend you guys be comfortable with what you're doing, and if you are trying to do the entire full set before you cure it, it can be a disaster. So make sure you guys are curing in between, as long as you guys are comfortable with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that. I showed you guys in real time with that first nail, and now I did speed it up a little bit so the process goes a little bit quicker. Again, I'm just randomly applying those splatters all over the nail and then adding those tiny little accents to kind of mimic that splattered effect. Now once you are content with your design, go ahead and fully cure the whole hand. Now I'm going in with my neon pigments. These are from Profiles Backstage. They are absolutely beautiful, highly recommend them. They are very inexpensive, and I'm using a makeup applicator and gently pressing that into that tacky layer. This is such an easy form of getting this design. You can do endless amounts of nail art using this method, so I do highly recommend it. They are very easy to blend, which I absolutely love as well. And I'm just alternating the colors on different nails in no specific order. I kind of just did different combinations of them. And I like to dust off any excess powder as I'm working because I don't want it to accidentally fall onto the next nail and mess up that color that I'm adding on there. Now I'm taking Gloss It from Not Polish and applying that over the surface of the nail. If you want a shiny finish, you should absolutely check this top coat out. It is really amazing. So I'm doing this before I place my matte top coat, because if you place the matte top coat directly onto that pigment, it will lightly remove it, and of course we want the full vibrant design and we do not want it to get ruined. So add a layer of Gloss It and then cure, and then add your matte top coat. So here I'm showing you briefly how I did the drip design on my right hand using my non-dominant hand. It is extremely hard for me to film doing my right hand because a lot of the time I'll move my hand really up close to my face and I forget I'm filming because I'm so into what I'm doing. So I did get a little snippet of that, so that's what you're seeing here. All the rest of the footage was trash, so I did not include any of it, but I basically did the same thing, applied my gel polish, and then I applied my pigment on top of that. That basically concludes this video. Do not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys next time.